Jeff Johns and Gary Frank tackle a different type of hero as they introduce us to a post-apocalyptic America whose deserted cities are haunted by a mysterious glowing man who stands guard over a nuclear bunker and will stop anyone and anything from getting in. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, both who share writing duties on this book, deliver a super cool and interesting first issue that throws us headfirst into a desolate post-nuclear war America, giving us some real fun hints at the world before the bombs dropped and how the world was already a broken mess from war, as well as the possible intervention of sci-fi concepts like aliens and metal monoliths a la 2001 A Space Odyssey. All that sort of stuff I really enjoy, and Johns really excels at that sort of stuff, as we saw in Doomsday Clock recently. The first half of Tariq Geiger's origin was a lot of fun too, and I like the idea that he is this undying nuclear man standing watch over his family, not knowing if they are alive or dead, but still he watches over them. I assume whether they are alive or dead will be a running thing through the first arc of the book, with it probably ending with the bunker opening and we learn their fates. Another aspect of the book that I really enjoyed was the weird Camelot and Nuclear Knights showcased at the end of the book. I love it when we can mash sci-fi stuff with like post-apocalyptic Fallout sort of stuff with traditional fantasy stuff like knights and kings, and I like that it's all set in Las Vegas, which is some last bastion of humankind, and of course it's Las Vegas and it's run by nutjobs like people who think they are kings and they have knights and everything. It's very strange and I'm looking forward to learning more about that. Gary Frank of course did the artwork, and there is no one compared to Gary when it comes to cinematic storytelling in a comic book. All his pages are paneled with laser precision with no space wasted, specifically the atomic bomb detonation pages early on in the book, which do a great job selling the scale and terrifying nature and magnitude of atomic weapons being used. Geiger issue 1 was a fantastic introduction to Johns and Frank's creator-owned hero, selling me on this cool sci-fi concept of an unkillable nuclear-powered man standing guard over his family, while also delivering up a nice bit of world building around the character, but leaving enough for future issues to explore. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Geiger issue 1 finds two hazmat suit wearing men learned that the area they're in is full of radiation, knowing it's the optimal breeding ground for what they are after. One thinks between the Nightcrawlers and the Organ people, they better take lookout shifts and his partner should get some sleep, but the man isn't sure he can sleep and is too curious about the one who walks outside without a suit, knowing that they can spot him at night all lit up. The Ella knows that it's all true since after an unknown war, the people started seeing him out in the desert flickering like a candle on the horizon, knowing they called him names like the Master of Mass Destruction, or the Walking Bomb, and the Meltdown Man. The Yellow Man wants to hear the story, so his partner settles down in the campfire at the edge of the crater to tell his friend about Tariq Geiger, knowing everything he did, good and bad, was for his family. In the year 2030, the news reports on all the terrible events happening around the world, breaking news of tracking systems triggering incoming alerts all over America as nuclear bombs are incoming on the country. The emergency broadcasts begin as Tariq Geiger gets his wife to move. The man takes his family outside to the bomb shelter, knowing that they can live down in the well-stocked bunker for a very long time. Tracy wonders if Tariq has his cancer medicine, but the man knows he's got plenty, despite his wife not knowing how long they'll be down there for, so he might not have enough. The man says they have no choice, comforting his scared daughter as his son points out that their dog is barking at something. The dog is barking at a missile that has been launched above them. Tariq rushes out to get the dog when suddenly he is shot in the leg by the neighbors, who have come looking to take over the bunker for themselves. Tariq tells his wife to get into the bunker and to lock it and never open it for anything. She tells her husband that she loves him as the door is closed and locked. The neighbors come closer, shooting the dog out of anger, thanks to the door being closed. They tell Tariq to get to his feet and get his family to open the door, but the man refuses, saying that he would die to protect his family. Before the people can shoot him, an atomic bomb goes off, blowing everything away in a bright light. 20 years later, hazmat suit suit-wearing men head through Boulder City, knowing they shouldn't be there. One of the men says that resources are running low, and the others know people don't come there for a reason. One of the men tells his partner to shut up about it, since the stories about the monster of Boulder City were just made up by people who want the city for themselves. The men soon find a blown-out bunker with nothing inside, but eventually they come across a giant wall made out of compacted cars. The men try and pry their way into the door at the bottom of the wall, wondering who owns it, as a cloaked man above them tells them that they are trespassing. They note how the man isn't wearing a hazmat suit, as he says that he had garbage collectors like them come round trying to get onto his property, and the ones who don't leave end up under his property, and it's how he got all of the compacted cars. The men know that this is the glowing man, but one of them can see he isn't glowing and he isn't 15 feet tall. They fire their guns at the mysterious man, who leaps down at them, easily disarming all of them before deciding to give them a sign that he is this glowing man they know. He pulls the 2 control rods from his back, causing him to begin glowing a bright green, telling the men there is no trespassing. He scares the men away, putting the control sticks back in their place and reverting back to his human form, taking the explosives the men took from the surrounding area and returning to his home, where he meets with his 2-headed wolf, telling it that the men ran off and it's better this way since he has already buried too many people out there. Heading inside, Tariq wonders what they should read tonight, but he knows that both he and the wolf are both bored of all of the books he has in the bunker, knowing that he would give anything for a new book, but no one's writing anymore. Later, the 2 share dinner in the empty bunker before Tariq leaves to see the bunker his family went into years prior. Touching the door, he doesn't know if they can hear him, but until it is safe to open the door, he will protect them. Elsewhere, the Nuclear Knight Warhead tells his boss about the mysterious glowing man, saying that Safari Bob met the man once and made a deal with him to keep people out of Boulder City, but that was when supplies weren't so scarce and he thought that it was just a story. But 3 of his men have just returned from an encounter with this man. Warhead asks if he can stand since he's been kneeling for over an hour, as the king tells the painter he wishes to have more broader shoulders and a bigger dragon to slay on the painting he is having commissioned. He tells the painter just to start over again, and if he fails to do it right this time, he will be fed to the hungry beast below, knowing that she is very hungry. Warhead speaks up, saying that if Safari Bob finds out that they broke his laws, there will be trouble, but the king doesn't care for his rules, telling Warhead to gather the rest of the Nuclear Knights and to help him go find the myth of the man. The knight says the king shouldn't come with them, sending the king into a rage, demanding Warhead never question his authority. The king says that this is an opportunity to finally slay something and it will be fun, since he will show the other bosses in town that he is his father's son, and even more than that, wanting to bring the glowing man's head back to prove that he is more powerful than his father ever was. He yells out to the walled city of Las Vegas that this is his chance for glory and he is coming for the glowing man.